Ivan from Sheffield, CreativeMornings. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm really excited because I've been friends with Vicky for nearly 15 years. I worked out last time. And we're really lucky because Vicky's never in England. She chooses to be anywhere else, but
surprise.
And so Vicky's going to tell us about her very interesting life, but just a snippet of it, and what she's doing all over the world, mainly in East Africa. So yeah, I'm going to, sorry Victoria, I don't call you that, but Victoria for slash roam around. So yeah, hi.
I'll just say as well, I was here because we did the Liquor Paint Festival in Sheffield like 2 weeks ago. I don't know if you've seen the murals around, and I painted outside Nomad Mason if you want to go and have a look. So it's just around the weekend, but that's one of the reasons I was here, and to see Emily of course. Okay, so I am a mural artist, and my artist name is Roam Around, like roam around the world, and I've been doing that now for a really long time, like as a full-time job for probably 6-7 years now. I paint in many different countries and with many different wildlife organisations, and it kind of started, I'll give you some context of first about me and how I got to that point, and then my charity, because it's a bit random. I'm from Barnsley, so if you knew what I'm doing, you'd be like, how did this girl from Barnsley end up with like gorillas in Rwanda? It's a really random story. So basically I was just travelling as a backpacker, as a traveller, and I just like fell in love with the world, and as an artist I opened up into like the natural world. That was always my subject. And I actually, when I first started travelling, I used to do these exchanges, which gave me the access to learn about the world. So I would paint inside like hotels or resorts or lodges in really cool places. So I would just do a swap, no money, just me painting. I would stay a week and things like that. And people always like, there's a big like taboo subject about that with artists, that people like don't work for free and don't be taken advantage of that. But in my story, it's worth more than money. You know, like to have access to get to places that you wouldn't ever be able to go is way more valuable than actual cash. And when you do those things, you're not just like a tourist, you know, you're with the staff, you make friends with the staff, you eat staff food with them, you visit their families. And in that way, it opens up a whole other way of travel that you never will access paying or going as a tourist. So for years I did that all over the world, like through Asia, through India, through America, through Africa, like many different countries and continents, and that's how I used to survive. And then I would sell paintings, make money, and hustling like artists do to fund my travel. And then I think really so this is some examples. So my style is pointillism, so I just drawing tiny dots. The dots got bigger obviously in time. It began just doing like small prints and like small kind of drawings and stuff of animals at the beginning, and then I moved to south of France. I started working with surfboard industry, surfboard companies, and I used to do like designs on surfboards and things like that, and that's where it went from paper onto a physical thing, onto like an item. And then I started painting on walls, and it was just a process of starting small, like doing like, you know, a small little thing, and then it kind of grew and grew to the point then where I'm doing like 500 square meters walls. So the dots are getting bigger, the paint markers are getting bigger, but the style's the same, it's just everything's getting bigger. So this is some examples of my work. I do mural festivals in different parts of the world. This is in Bordeaux, France, this is in Corsica. So I also do street art festivals, and the style's the same, it's still pointillism, but there is a little bit of movement now of like using realism and mixing different styles inside of it, but that's kind of like the gist of who I am as a person. So, and then 2 years ago, I always dreamt of Africa, like for a long time. I watched my biggest like idols are like Jane Goodall, David Attenborough, Dian Fossey, like I watched documentaries, obsessed with, you know, wildlife documentaries for a long time. And I always wanted to go to Africa, and I always thought about it, but it's such a difficult place to maneuver, and you have to go there with some plan or intention of what you're going to do. I think you can't, it's different travel than just traveling through Thailand, for example, you know. So I think it was a perfect timing for me in my life where I first was like, okay, I'm going to go to Kenya. And I went there with a mission to see animals and to learn about the land and the culture and all the tribes and things like that. And I think I knew before I went that I would love Kenya, but it happened like instantly. Like the first 2 weeks I was like, oh my God, this place is magical, it's crazy. And it really is like my favorite country on earth. It's so beautiful. And when I got there, I realized like I was doing all these things and I'm advocating for animals and I'm telling stories and I'm making other people love animals. Like the reason I do this is because I want you to see this and go, why is she doing a big red lobster here in this fishing village in Corsica? That's the point. And then you learn about it, and it's because it's a species that's it's overfished in that community. You know, it's overfished because of tourism. It's overfished because of us needing that lobster, needing that greed all the time. So my art is always a message for people. And this is the life of the salmon. Every animal that relies on a salmon, you know, when that goes, this entire ecosystem will collapse. All these animals, all these species won't have food, and that's going to change. So everything has a story. This one is all the staff that volunteer in a turtle sanctuary that I used to volunteer in for free. They've done it for 10 years. Nobody knows them, nobody cares, but every day they go and move eggs from tourist locations. There's just amazing people. There's amazing people out there. When you go and find them, you feel as an artist, you have to tell people about it. So this is where it started, like just storytelling. And then when I got to Kenya, I realized like, it's bigger than me now. Like there's so many stories. There's so many things that are amazing that I can't physically do it on my own. I can't be everywhere I am. So I started an organization called the Wild Mural Projects, which is a charity. It's an NGO. And the Wild Mural Projects is an arts program to connect people to the natural world through arts and creativity. So there's kind of 3 parts of the project. One is workshops. So we run workshops now in all different locations. What we do is we partner with like wildlife NGOs or different conservation efforts. We go in as artists, so it's usually me, and then I take a team, I hire a team of locals. So in each country, I try to financially support the local artist community, because it's really, you think it's hard for us here in the UK, but you haven't seen the hustle that those artists have to go through, and they're really amazing, but it's like extra hard. So I try to hire my local artists from each country. We go into schools, we go into like after school clubs, and what we try to do is to make people that don't care about the environment love the environment by making it really fun. So we kind of talk about really serious subjects, but like in a really fun way. So then the kids are like, we did this workshop about specific turtle species, and we shouldn't poach them because of this and this and this, and it stays with them, you know. If you're going like I'm doing now to kids, after 10 minutes, like they have all school, they're listening all day, you know, they don't have physical things that they get to do. So if you're going with painting, and one, they don't get to do that ever. You don't get to paint on walls when you're a kid. It's not a thing. And to paint with all your friends is so fun, and we make it fun, you know, we have music, it's such a good vibe, like the actual like workshop. So it's proven, like it really does work, it really makes people feel proud of what they've done. They go back, they show their friends, they take real ownership of it. So the workshops usually break down in like a 3-day. The first one, we sit together, we discuss the subject. So obviously the subject changes in each location, so it's different ecosystems. So this actually, I'm working now in partnership with the Jane Goodall Institute. She has something called the Roots and Shoots program, which has 60 centres worldwide. And obviously they're all different, so some of the kids maybe do plastic beach cleanups if you live by the ocean, or mangrove plantation. These ones were in Arusha in Tanzania. So different subjects depending where they live. And we go in, we do a talk, we brainstorm together, like, you know, what are you doing with your group? what do we want to tell the story, what's important, which plant species are endemic, which ones do you need, you know, for your village, for medicine, for what you're using, why is that important? So everything has different stories. And then the second day, so the kids actually do the drawings, and then us, as professional artists, we take a photo of those drawings, we put them into like digital, and we keep their drawings. So these kids' drawings, you can't see some of these pictures, but these are from the kids, but we've just like professional and make it look like a bit cooler than if we just let them paint directly on the wall. And then we help them put it on the wall, and then the kids actually paint. So I'm there, my team are there, but we don't really touch the wall. So the whole process has gone from the design, from the brainstorm, like right to the end finishing. The kids have done it. So this is an example of the workshops. So number one, yeah. So we've done many now. Like I've been based in East Africa for the last 3 years, between Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda. But I'm also doing lots. I've done stuff in France. Next week I go to Toulouse and I'm doing the Jane Goodall the university, Toulouse University, with a new volunteer group from there. So it's all the students. So it's not just something for kids. It's also for like adults as well, and just to get people engaging in a fun way. So that's the workshops. I'll take a breath out of coffee. I might tell them, and I was like, if I'm waffling, just give me like a time out. Okay, so the next part of the project is I organise street art festivals. This dream is bigger than me. So if anyone's listening today who has either an idea or contact or you're involved in something that can help this project, afterwards, like, tell me, because this is just like a big dream that I'm trying to make reality, but it's really, really is bigger than one person. So what I'm doing is to create these street art festivals, but really impactful. So I find the artist, I find an artist who's maybe never even known what a species of animal is, or from an urban environment, for example. Like in Kenya, I met a lot of incredible artists from Nairobi. They'd never been to the coast. Financially, they'd never even seen the water. They don't even know the difference between a turtle and a tortoise. They think it's the same, you know. So the project is to really inspire these artists to use the amazing talent they have, but to share stories like about environmental issues. So the only way to do that is for them to see it. And I met so many people when I was in Kenya that, you know, we know Kenya is safari and animals and wildlife. They don't know it's that. They've never seen. You have people that live next to National Park in Nairobi. They've never seen animals. So how can they talk about their country and be proud, or talk about the problems if they don't know? How can people work as Nat Geo wildlife photographers? It's always us going in there, taking the pictures, going back. But how can they tell them stories? How can they get access to that? So my next project is to really try to connect them and, you know, put them in these environments where they have this connection, they have this creativity. So this was my last festival. I ran in February this year in Zanzibar. It was the first street art festival in East Africa, and I chose 10 East African artists. Some already were mural artists, some hadn't, but we were mentoring them to help them to put it up. And I chose like an artist from like an urban setting, and then I chose a wildlife NGO, and then I organized residencies. So I asked them, like, can you host my artists? Can you basically let them shadow what you're doing and shadow the rangers and really work on the ground? So we did that. We sent the artists into these environments. It was incredible. And they took first-hand what was happening. They did photos, they did sketches. They really took that opportunity. And then for the Mural Festival, they painted that. So the first festival was called Extinction, and it was 10 East African artists with 10 East African endangered species, and they told that story. So this is Nina. Nina is an artist from Nairobi, Kenya, and she was in Samburu, which is northern Kenya. It's a tribe up in northern Kenya. I don't know if anyone's ever been. And the women up there have an organization called the Gravy Zebra Trust. The Gravy Zebra Trust is an organization that protects a specific species of zebra that is nearly extinct now, but it's the women that actually work tracking it, helping to move it location, and they're keeping those numbers. So it's actually a really interesting story if anyone's interested in that kind of thing. But Nina was working alongside these women, and then that was her subject for the festival. This is Roteti. This is an elephant sanctuary also in northern Kenya. It's really amazing what they do. They rescue often elephants that their mothers have been killed from habitat loss, poaching activity, human-wildlife conflict. So when the mother dies, the baby will die automatically because for the first 2 years the baby relies on the mother for milk. So Roteti Sanctuary take those babies and they have a sanctuary of orphan baby elephants. They feed them goat's milk from the village and they raise them into a new herd and then they rewild them into a conservancy. Conservancy is protected by rangers, so they're not in danger from humans, and they create a new family. And it's a really amazing organisation, but my project works with them. We're trying to tell the story, and I think by what we're doing and painting these people, painting these species, putting QR codes and everything, it's our way as a mural artist how we can tell the world all these amazing people doing all these amazing things. So this is some of those. This is Nina as well. And this is the coast. This is the turtle sanctuary that we worked in. Yeah. So maybe what I'll do now is I'm going to play you a video. So we made a little documentary series on each artist and their journey. So this was Wamala. He's an amazing artist from Uganda, and we sent him to Gamba Island, which is a chimpanzee sanctuary, which actually is really beautiful too if you look into it afterwards. They rescue the chimpanzees from like horrible circumstances, from war zones, from circus, from entertainment business and things like that. And they have them here on the island. It's a natural forest habitat. They're fed because most of them have had human contact, and they live there for the rest of their life. That's like an old people's home for chimpanzees. It's super cute. And this is one of our artists. It's a short video, but it gives you an idea.
So I feel like we are so closely related. Their ability to solve puzzles, their ability to overcome their traumas from where they used to rescue them from is amazing. I feel like we all have the ability to transcend our problems, and I feel like that relates so much to us as humans. Greetings, my name is Omala Jane Joseph, and I'm a muralist from Uganda, Kampala. Right behind me is a mural that I'm creating in a partnership with the World Mural Project, a project that supports and encourages people to save and protect the environment through protecting endangered species. So what I'm creating right now is chimpanzees from the Gamba Island, a sanctuary that also recovers and protects chimpanzees that are homeless, that have damaged, war survivors. Yeah, so my inspiration behind this painting is some of the chimpanzees that I happen to see at this island, and also merging it with African traditional fabric that is inspired by nature. So I'm trying to juxtapose human elements of human creativity with nature that is already existent, all things that we feel that are going to be troublesome. So I'm trying to advocate for the legacy, the sustainability of chimpanzees in Africa, in Uganda, and the world at large.
Okay, so that's one example of like the residency, like how we got to that point. So there's like 10 of those from all the different artists. My the next issue. Yeah, so that's basically like the concept of the festivals. And I want to take this big, like my dream is huge with this. You have no idea, the only thing stopping me is money and finance now, but we have I have a team of amazing artists in South Africa, I have a team of artists in France, I have a team of creatives here in the UK, and I'm just trying to get, you know, as many people on board as possible. And I want to take these stories worldwide. So this festival is in East Africa, about East Africans and about their wildlife and about their culture, and you know, they should tell that story, not us. And what I want to do is take these people and take them globally. So I'd love to have like a street art festival even here in Sheffield, but I'd bring in like 20 artists, like one from Kampala, one from Brazil, one from all over the world, and they're painting their stories for us to see, because it's really important that they do that. But obviously to get to that point is super complicated. And I did succeed. I just brought Sally from Kenya to Paris. This is me and him. We just painted this huge wall in Paris, but it's not easy to logistics of this and visas and things like that, but it's possible. And the idea, this is all endangered species of East Africa, all the species that we just worked with basically. And I really want to do that. I want to bring all these people that I met, and I want to let them showcase it on a physical bigger platform and globally. And I want to run this festival in different locations in the world. So for example, you know, going to South America and using South American artists to create these stories and to just take it all over the world, and then have one giant team of street artists, like the biggest street art crew in the world, like the biggest nerdy crew in the world painting for animals. That's the big dream. But yeah, it's new as well. It's only a new thing. This is the first festival. So I think it's something that, yeah, we're going to grow to. Okay, these are my festival ones. This was the Zanzibar festival, so this was Nina's piece about the Samburu grave zebras. She's awesome as well, by the way. This was a big piece that we did. There's a collective of 3 of us. This was Moses. This was in collaboration with Diane Fossey, so it was about the rangers that die protecting the mountain gorillas in the mountains of Rwanda. He's an artist from Rwanda. This is the pangolin, a species that not many people are aware of, but it's used in fashion and lots of trade and things like that out there. It's a very endangered species now. So he's from Tanzania. He was representing that species. And the idea is just to get people talking, you know, to people to walk past and be like, oh, why are you doing that? What are you doing? And then that's the conversation started, basically. So that's how we can use mural painting as a advocate. Is that on my slides?
Yeah, because of the technical difficulty. Do you want to talk about how people can support?
Yeah, so that's basically the project, everybody. So yeah, as you can see, it's like a long ongoing thing. At the minute, it's just me. I'm self-funded. I have no funding at all. I've managed to do everything from my own artwork, so I work hard and do my murals, and then money from that goes to, you know, materials for workshops and paying salaries and logistic costs. This first festival was funded by a property developer in Zanzibar, a German property developer, which helped me a lot because it gave me the funds to just do the first one, but then he's not going to do another one, so that was like a one-time only, like, let's go. So I'm trying now to find new grants, funding, sponsors, so if anyone like has connections or you work in that field, just keep this in mind. And at the moment we're just doing fundraising. I've got an exhibition next week in France with a collection, and I'm trying to raise money. And today I've just brought some t-shirts that the image on the back is the mural that we did here with a collective of artists, and the t-shirt sales 100% is for the workshop. So the one thing we're struggling with now is to keep the workshops going. We have to buy the paints and materials, and they're actually really expensive over there compared to here. They don't have like Poundland where you can just go and buy crayons and stuff. Like it's actually quite complex and expensive out there. So the idea is to have some little things like this that generates money for the workshops, for the schools, to pay local artists to come for a day, pay their bus tickets, things like that. So it's not huge money, but yeah, we have a donation. I have a QR code that takes you to the crowdfunding. So if anybody wants to support the project and be part of this journey, then I would appreciate that. And yeah, does anyone have any questions?
How do you meet the artists How do you find people when you
Just
get-
networking, like social media. Like when I did the festival, I did an open call, so I put out on Instagram like for East African artists, and the word gets around because there's not so many festivals happening. I had over 120 applications, and I had to pick 10. But you know, again, many people are incredible, but they don't have a phone, or they don't have data. They don't have smartphones, they don't have Instagram. WhatsApp is their main network they use. So again, there's these really secret talented people that you have to go and find physically, because it's not like in our world where you just see their page and you're like, oh yeah, they have great videos. Like they don't have great cameras, they don't have an iPad, they don't have all these stuff, but they're still incredibly talented artists. So it's just finding them and then giving them these platforms now to be like, okay, I'm just like putting you there and then you do your thing, you know? That's kind of the idea of the project. Yeah.
No more questions? Cool. Have you noticed any longer term changes in the communities that you've worked
Yeah,
in?
like from the communities that we go into, like with the kids or for the artists.
I guess like the longer term for the humans, but also for the animals.
Yeah. For sure, like the gravy zebra was a really good example because it's a very small trust out there that nobody knows about the zebra in general. Like you'd probably just think like, yeah, there's a zebra, like a common zebra, but there isn't. Like this specific species is so unique. It's like a zebra has tiny, tiny, thin stripes, and it has big, round, fluffy ears. It's super cute, and it's just there, just in the whole world. It's just in that area. And when we started doing this, there was so much attention on Instagram, on social media for the Gravy Zebra Trust, and people following. And the hope is that, you know, they get followers, they get raising awareness, maybe people donate, you know. And I think it did have an effect. Like we had a lot of positive feedback from all the collaborations, like saying, you know, thank you for telling the world about the Gravy Zebra, which nobody knows. So I guess impact-wise, we'll never really know if people donate into them causes. It's just a hope that people do find something inside them to be like, oh, I love this and I love what they do. But you only know that from knowing about it, you know. And that's the thing, most people, if you don't watch wildlife documentaries, if you don't go to Nat Geo exhibitions, if you don't buy magazines about wildlife, you probably wouldn't know that. You know, my Instagram feed is full of nerdy documentary stuff that Emily's probably isn't. That you wouldn't know that. Your average like city person wouldn't know. So by putting these kind of murals in streets and in galleries and environments out of that environment, I think is our way to, for other people that maybe would never even think about this, to think about it. And that's it. And in regards to the workshops, they have a big impact. They really do. Like, I go back to the sites when I've done them. I work with the same people, and more kids want to do it. You know, I have one in Malindi in the coast where we took a football team of guys, like teenage guys, and at the beginning, you know, guys internationally are the same, showing off, you know, like trying to be cool in front of their friends, because they're like a weird age, you know, and like 15 where you're too cool to do stuff like that, and there's like a girl coming in like, hey, and they were like, ah, hi girl, and they're laughing, and it was super intense, and at the beginning they were all like, you know, joking with each other and like messing around, but then by the end they got really into it. And then when I went back and like afterwards and I got feedback from the place we painted, they still to this day take friends and they show off like, oh, I drew this lobster and I did this, and I've seen them, they have photos next to it, like they're really proud. And now they ask me like, can you come back and do the other wall, like the other guys want to do it. So it is something that's, you know, is activating that, and they want to be artists. And sometimes I get messages and I get emails from students like, if you need assistance, can I help? And you know, I'm trying to make it clear to people that it is a job. Art is a job. If you're good, it's your passport. You can go anywhere you want in the world, and especially for girls and women, because I think this is globally, but I've seen it more in these areas, that it's not a thing. It's not even a dream to have as a young girl that you could be you could scale a 20-meter wall on a scaffolding. That's not a thing. Like, it's not a dream, it's not something that you, even for me at school, that wasn't something that I thought could happen. But you know, when young girls watch girls and women up a lift and painting, you do think like, yeah, I can do that. And that's also a part of what we're trying to do, and I have many females working with us to try and inspire as many young females as possible. So yeah, that's that. Okay, I think I'm done. You can all go to work now.
I have another question.
Yeah.
Just a practical thing, how easy or difficult do you find the spaces to actually work on?
Like the walls.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty difficult.
Yeah, there's a lot gone up around Sheffield recently, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah.
But how do you do it?
It's just practice. It's like every job, I guess. Like you start small, you learn how to grid up big, how to proportion, you have techniques, and then yeah, it's just, I don't know, I don't really think about it anymore. It's just the same if I'm doing it on that. You digitally impose the image, you make up a grid on the wall, you put the image on, you draw the image. It doesn't matter how big the wall is, it's always the same technique. You can get bigger and bigger. Of course, physically, you know, back start to hurt. Few details. And lift and stuff like that. We're really lucky here. We have health and safety, you know, in the UK. We have like extra health and safety. Like you can't even go up a ladder here without someone like watching you. You know, in a lot of places I work, it's not like that. We don't have lifts. We have bamboo scaffolding. There's no harnesses.
Is that the back?
That was a huge one. I was here fearing for my life. And there was a man whose job it was to basically keep moving these shelvings down and hold this ladder, and it was pretty high, 25 meters high. So yeah, you make things possible, and resilience, but you also have to work with what you've got, I guess. So yeah, that's that.
Is it all self-taught?
Yeah, no, I studied fine art in university, and then I left uni. I worked as a chef. I just was wanting to travel, and I just wanted money, so I would work half the year in kitchens. I was always drawing and painting, but I didn't make money from it. I would work as a chef half the year, travel half the year, work seasons, travel. Travel was the main thing for me, finding a way how to move without having a job and restriction. And then my art kind of came into practice, and then now my art's probably took over. Like the art's number one, the travel's number two, but they go in hand in hand. And it's a perfect balance now because the three main passions is travel, art, and animals. And it's like I found a way to make all that happen. It's not easy, of course, but it's something I found. It took 10 years, I think, to get into this position. But now I can see the next 10 years with development projects for sure, like just growing on this.